Mork meets us here on Earth on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is July 21st, 2023. It is the 202nd day of the year. You got 163 days left. Time to get started on that New Year's resolution. Today is the 29th Friday in the 29th week and the 31st day of summer. Done a whole month of this. You got 64 days left until fall. Today is National Comic Con Day. Comic Con takes place from July 21st to 24th this year, 2023. Comic-Con is amazing. I've never been to it, but it has evolved. Actually, I should say I haven't been since it became popular. I think I went back in 1983, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. Now it is huge, especially with all the superhero movies that have been coming out in recent years. It's massive. I mean, they have trailers premiere for different comic book movies every year, and it's gone on beyond comic books, because that's pretty much all it was at the beginning. Now it's about movies, video games, animation, just a big celebration of geekdom, which used to be a small portion of the population. Now Comic-Con, video games, and superhero movies are very much mainstream. If you're not interested in those things these days, you're kind of the outlier. So I was just doing a little reading up on it, and I guess the time I went was in 1981 because it was still at the El Cortez Hotel. Now it's at the San Diego Convention Center. That started in 1982. The year I went, there was 5,000 attendees, they say. That's the estimate. In 2010, they had to expand from just the convention center to the San Diego Hilton, Bayfront, and San Diego Marriott, and that's because the San Diego Convention Center was too small. That year in 2010, they had 130,000 visitors. Right before the pandemic, they were actually expanding out into like 10 or 15 different places around the convention, like the Martin Luther King Promenade, the Horton Grand Theater, all kinds of places around the Gaslamp Quarter. And then because of the pandemic, it all came to a screeching halt, and they didn't have it in 20 and 21. They had a small one in November of 2021 that only had about 40,000 attendees. 2022 was the first year they were back in full swing, where they had almost 150,000 attendees. These days, it just seems too big to really be that enjoyable. I still might go. Not this year, maybe 2025. All right. Let's see what else July 21st has given us. 1865, in the market square of Springfield, Missouri, Wild Bill Hickok shoots and kills Davis Tutt in what is regarded as the first Western showdown. 1873, more cowboy stuff. In Adair, Iowa, Jesse James and the James Younger Gang pull off its first successful train robbery in the American Old West. 1907, the passenger steamer SS Columbia sinks after colliding with a steam schooner San Pedro off Shelter Cove, California, killing 88 people. 1925, the Scopes trial. In Dayton, Tennessee, high school biology teacher John T. Scopes is found guilty of teaching human evolution in a class and fined $100. That's worth about $1,800 right now. Now, I get emails a lot and I get comments about why didn't I talk about this on a certain day? Why didn't I do this? A lot of times we've talked about it before. That one in particular, we talked about last year, and it was the deep dive. So if you think something is missing, there's two things happening. We talked about it before and I don't feel like we need to talk about it again. Or I'm saving something for next year. I mean, we got to save something. This is our third year into it. And if I talked about everything, we'd stop making videos. 1952, the 7.3 magnitude Kern County earthquake strikes Southern California, killing 12 people and injuring hundreds. 1969, the Apollo program. At 2:56 a.m., astronaut Neil Armstrong becomes the first person to walk on the moon, followed 19 minutes later by Buzz Aldrin. 1983, the world's lowest temperature in an inhabited location is recorded. At the Vostok Station in Antarctica, it was minus 89.2 degrees Celsius or minus 128.6 Fahrenheit. 2010, Barack Obama signs the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Movies released on July 21st today. Oppenheimer. This looks like it's going to be a great movie, and it's probably one of the last good movies we're going to see for a while, since all the actors and directors and everyone is on strike. This is a film about theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer. The film follows his development of the Manhattan Project and the creation of the atomic bomb. It was directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, I guess, Poe, P-U-G-H. I know she's in one of the Marvel movies. Anyway, Cillian Murphy, he's in it. He plays Oppenheimer. Emily Blunt, Matt Damon's in it. Josh Hartnett. Looks like a really good movie. Born on July 21st, 1951, Robin Williams. Everyone knows who he is. Sadly, he took his own life. He was in Good Will Hunting, Miss Doubtfire, Dead Poet Society, Hook, Patch Adams, Jumanji, Good Morning Vietnam. He was also Mork from Ork on Mork and Mindy. David Letterman had the nicest thing to say about him because Robin Williams was extremely talented. He also had a bad habit of using other people's jokes. Now, I honestly don't think he did it on purpose. I've been a comedian in the past, and I know sometimes you just start talking and words come out of your mouth, and afterwards you think I think that's somebody else's joke. I had that problem. Robin Williams, I know, had that problem. Comedians used to call his agent and go, hey, I saw his HBO special, he used 2 of my jokes. And the agent would be all, how much do you want for him? And they'd just send him a check. But David Letterman and some of the other comedians would see him at different comedy clubs when they were young and coming up. Comedians hang out at some of the comedy clubs. That's like their place they go. They want to get on stage that night. They want to see what other people are doing. They want to communicate and hang out with people that are doing what they're doing. So he would hang out there, and all of a sudden Robin Williams shows up and he watches him the first time, and he said all these comics had this look on their face going, well, that's it. Time to go back to Indiana. Like, you couldn't compete with Robin Williams. One of my favorite roles he ever played was Teddy Roosevelt on Night at the Museum. Great movie. Died on July 21st, 2017, John Hurd, television and film actor who's best known for his role as Peter McAllister in the Home Alone films. He was in a lot of really good movies besides Home Alone. He was in The Pelican Brief, Beaches, Cutter's Way. He played a sleazy, federal agent on The Sopranos for a couple seasons. He was also in the movie Big with Tom Hanks. I'd also forgotten he was in Awakenings with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams. There was a little known movie that he was in that I thought was great. It was called Gladiator. This was a boxing movie, not the Russell Crowe movie where they were gladiators. This starred Cuba Gooding Jr., James Marshall, Brian Dennehy. That was from 1992. Good movie. John Hurd died of a heart attack on July 21st, 2017 at the age of 71. His body was found by staff in a hotel in Palo Alto, California, where he was reportedly recovering from minor back surgery, which he had just undergone at Stanford University. The back surgery did not play a role in his death. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.